Hey Vikings Nation, what's going on? Get ready because today's update might just shake up everything we thought we knew about the Minnesota Vikings offense heading into this season. There's a name floating around that should instantly grab your attention. And yes, it's a big one. Imagine this. A veteran superstar, future Hall of Fame talent, possibly lining up alongside Justin Jefferson. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you this is something that's actually being talked about right now? Stay with me because we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing storylines in recent Minnesota Vikings news, and trust me, this could change everything for this offense. The buzz started when DeAndre Hopkins, entering year 14 in the NFL, made it clear he's still hungry and looking for the right situation. And guess what? The Minnesota Vikings might just be on his radar. But here's where things get interesting. Hopkins didn't just mention any team. He specifically brought up a connection that could make this move feel very real. That connection? Kyler Murray. Yes, the same quarterback Hopkins built chemistry with during his time in Arizona. But hold on. There's something important we need to address here. Let's clear this up right now, Vikings fans. Kyler Murray is not currently on the Minnesota Vikings roster. That part of the rumor? Not accurate. So while Hopkins expressed interest in reconnecting with Murray, the idea that they'd reunite in Minnesota doesn't match the current reality of the Vikings roster. And that's exactly why we always break things down carefully here, because in the world of NFL rumors, things can get twisted fast. Now, even without Murray in Minnesota, the possibility of Hopkins joining the Vikings still raises some serious questions, and even bigger excitement. Because let's be real, this offense already has one of the most dangerous weapons in football, Justin Jefferson. Hopkins himself even acknowledged that, calling Jefferson one of the best receivers in the game. And honestly, who's arguing with that? Now imagine defenses trying to deal with Jefferson on one side, and a savvy veteran like Hopkins on the other. That's a nightmare scenario. But before we get too carried away, let's look at the numbers. Hopkins is coming off a 2025 season with the Baltimore Ravens where he had a limited role. He played all 17 games but only started 3, finishing with 22 catches for 330 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not the Hopkins we remember dominating defenses. In fact, it was the lowest yardage total of his entire career. So the big question becomes, how much does he still have left in the tank? Now here's where things get interesting again. Even though he's not the same explosive player from his Houston days, Hopkins still brings value. We're talking about a big-bodied receiver who can win contested catches, especially in the red zone, something every offense needs. And when you look at the current Minnesota Vikings roster, there might actually be a role for him. Yes, you've got Justin Jefferson as the clear WR1 and Jordan Addison stepping up as a dangerous number 2 option. But the Vikings did lose Jalen Nailor, who played a key role in the slot, especially in certain packages. That opens up opportunities for a veteran presence, someone who doesn't need to carry the offense, but can contribute in key moments. And that's exactly the kind of role Hopkins seems open to at this stage of his career. He's not just chasing stats anymore. He made it clear he wants to be around good people, a good locker room, and help younger players develop. That mindset, that could fit perfectly in Kevin O'Connell's system and culture in Minnesota. Because let's be honest, the Vikings aren't just building talent. They're building identity, chemistry, and leadership. And bringing in a veteran like Hopkins could add another layer to that, especially for a young receiver room. But of course, there's always the financial side of things. The Vikings would likely only consider this if the deal is low risk, low cost. So the real question becomes, is Hopkins willing to take that kind of deal for a chance to compete and contribute? If the answer is yes, this could become a very real conversation in Minnesota Vikings news over the coming weeks. And Vikings fans, I want to hear from you right now. Would you like to see DeAndre Hopkins in purple and gold? Do you think he still has enough left to make an impact? Or should the team focus on developing younger talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this is one of those moves that could divide the fan base in a big way. And don't forget, these off-season decisions can shape the entire trajectory of a season. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated with the latest Minnesota Vikings news, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this with your fellow Vikings fans, and let's keep the conversation going. because things are heating up, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.